Welcome to Warhammer Warscroll Review. In this video, we're taking a look at the Darkling Covens unit, the Sorceress on Black Dragon.
Warscroll Review.
The Sorceress on Black Dragon is a beautiful model and really invokes dread. But when you look at the model stats, you will feel a bit underwhelmed on the surface. Don't let these middling stats fool you though. The beast does have a purpose. Starting with its stat wheel, the Black Dragon has an awesome 14-inch flying movement. Moving on, we will see her average 14 wounds for a monster and below average 5-up save. The 14 wounds is nice, but in reality, that save means she's going down as fast as a small unit of light infantry. The model will wield 4 weapons in the end, and they really vary in effectiveness. The Sorceress herself has a choice between the Witch Rod and the Darkling Sword. Both are pretty ineffective, but I suppose the Witch Rod offers a bit more since it has D3 damage and Ren 1. The Sorceress also wields a Witch Lash to battle for another boring attack. The Black Dragon, on the other hand, has 2 weapons, its claws and its fearsome jaws. At full strength, both weapons are deadly, offering 9 attacks in total. The claws are Ren -1, 2 damage, while the jaws are Ren -2, D6 damage. The Black Dragon also has a special ability that deals mortal wounds at a range. In the shooting phase, choose a unit and roll a die for each model within 6 inches of the dragon. For each roll of 6, they are dealt a mortal wound. This is a neat ability if the dragon is right up in the enemy's face or itself is surrounded. As the rider is a Darkling Coven sorceress, she has the ability to sacrifice a nearby Darkling Coven model for +2 to cast a spell. Unless you absolutely have to get a spell off, or the player has a surplus of Darkling infantry, this is better left ignored. She can cast and unbind once in the hero phase, and she has her own unique spell. Blade Wind casts on a 6 and has the player choose a unit within 16 inches and roll 6 dice. Each time the player rolls under the opponent's highest to hit roll, they're dealt a mortal wound. Against chaff, this will deal a good bit of damage, but if they are more elite models with a 3-up to hit value, the player will likely only be scoring 2 mortal wounds. That's still better than Arcane Bolt. So the model sounds alright, right? Okay, well, it is somewhat expensive at just under 300 points. By itself, the model is probably not worth it. Though it acts like a monster, it falls to a stiff breeze. Don't discount the model entirely though. It is fast and can use at the double on itself to reliably move 20 inches. After we go over some of the model's uses in a Darkling Coven army, the model will seem a bit more desirable. Most of the faction's battle traits don't offer too much to the dragon, but the additional command abilities are what takes this model from a weak monster to a killing machine. As already stated, the Sorceress on Black Dragon is a hero model, meaning she, herself, can use command abilities. At the double and forward to victory, both offer additional speed to an already fast model, but the Darkling Coven unique command ability, Command Underlings, cranks up her speed even further. The ability can be used to allow a unit within 12 inches to run and charge. So using this and at the double at the same time means an average threat range of 27 inches. Rushing the opponent with these command abilities is all about getting the dragon close to engage in combat, as well as hit an enemy unit with its noxious breath. In addition, the other Darkling unique command ability, Inspire Hatred, would allow a unit within 12 inches to reroll wound rolls of 1 in combat. While the Sorceress herself won't care much about this, the dragon will be doing even more damage. Also in a Darkling Coven, the Sorceress would benefit from both command traits and artifacts. Many of the Darkling command traits are personal benefits to the Sorceress, which is fine, but not usually what I go for. Sustain My Misery heals back D3 wounds if an enemy model was slain nearby. Impossibly Swift subtracts 1 from hit rolls, and Effortless Grace increases her save roll to 4-up. These are all pretty decent bonuses, but none of them are going to make the Black Dragon actually durable. The Merciless command trait fits a bit better with the Black Dragon. Merciless forces an additional D3 models to flee when the enemy fails a bravery check within 12 inches. Although it hinges on the enemy failing a battle shock test, it can be devastating in those times an opponent fails by 1. This takes away their sense of relief, as an additional D3 models are going to flee. Artifacts also offer a few bonuses to the Sorceress on Black Dragon. A few are personal augments, like the Shadow Shroud Ring, limiting the enemy's ability to shoot at the dragon for 1 turn. A few others are decent too, but the one I want to focus on is the Decanter of Egos. This artifact of power is a once per game ability that can be used to increase the movement of all Darkling Coven units wholly within 12 inches of the bearer by 3. So not only is Our Lady running and charging with a high base movement once per game, she can increase the move by 3 inches, adding up for a grand total of 23 inches before the 2d6 inch charge, making an average of a 30-inch threat range but a maximum of 35 inches. It stinks that this is only once per game, while other armies have similar buffs that are constant, but whatever. This is more like a blitz and embodies the combat style of the Darkling Coven. One of the best support pieces for the Black Dragon is, well, another Black Dragon. A player could obviously take up to 4 in a 2,000 point game. 4 could potentially be pushing it, but 2 or even 3 may be a bit more manageable. Taking 4 is a good idea, but that is a big drain on command points. So if you do go with 4 Black Dragons, be sure to have a lot of CP ready before the game starts. Outside of augments bestowed directly on the Black Dragon, another unit within the Darkling Coven will prove helpful: the Sorceress on foot. This version of the Sorceress has a nice unique spell. Her spell, Word of Pain, decreases enemy to hit rolls by 1, indirectly protecting the Black Dragon, coupled with Impossibly Swift for -2 to hit. Through piling up debuffs, you can possibly mitigate the low natural durability of the Black Dragon. In terms of allies, there are multiple options with access to spells and abilities that further debuff the enemy. The Bloodrack Medusa spell decreases wound rolls for the enemy by 1. The Stormcast model, the Lord Relictor, and the Ideneth Deepkin model, the Ishring Tidecaster, both have debuffing abilities that decrease an enemy's to hit roll by 1. If the player took Merciless as their command trait, abilities that decrease enemy bravery would come in handy. The Charybdis and the Celestant Prime, as well as the Endless spell, Ravenak's Gnashing Jaws, all come with bravery reductions. Darkling Coven only has access to 1 Warscroll battalion. The Thrall Warhost can include between 1 and 6 Black Dragons, 1 unit of Blackguard, 1 unit of Executioners, and 3 to 6 units of Bleak Shards, Dread Spears, or Dark Shards. The ability has the player choose the leader of the battalion, and each turn choose a unit within 18 inches of the leader. It can charge and attack in the hero phase. The Sorceress riding her Black Dragon is not that impressive without the Darkling Coven Allegiance abilities. Therefore, the Warscroll really isn't that universal. You can't throw her in an Order army and expect her to perform the same. With the Allegiance abilities, this model will be eating up command points like no one's business. If you did choose to take multiple, you will need some points invested in starting with CP. Remember, each Black Dragon will likely need at least 1 CP in the turn they rush the enemy. This allows them to run and charge. But spending another CP to ensure you run 6 inches will likely be worth it. The Sorceress on Black Dragon receives a 4 out of 5. I really like the unit, but outside of a Darkling Coven, it is fairly limited, and unfortunately, Darkling Covens themselves are somewhat limited. So even though I believe the Black Dragon can be quite offensive in the Coven, it may be held back a bit by the other units around it. What do you think of the Sorceress on Black Dragon? What War Scrolls would you like to see reviewed next? Leave your suggestions, thoughts, and questions in the comments below, and thanks for watching.